All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the New South Wales Small Business Innovation Research Program webinar. My name is Lewis Bennett. I'm a Senior Project Officer at the Office of the New South Wales Chief Scientist and Engineer. I would ask everyone, if you are not presenting, could you please mute your microphones, as we've just had some technical difficulties with assigning presenter status to certain people. I'd like to begin today by acknowledging that we meet on many Aboriginal lands. I myself am joining the meeting from the traditional land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and cultures. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Just some housekeeping before we start. The webinar will consist of a 10-minute overview of the SBIR program, followed by a presentation from the Challenge Agency, and we will finish with roughly 30 minutes of question time. Today's webinar is recorded and will be available on the New South Wales SBIR website in the coming days. If you'd like to ask a question during the webinar, please type it into the Q&A box at the right-hand side of your screen. Today's webinar will focus on the challenge from HealthShare New South Wales involving health waste stream management. We will hold a Q&A session right after their challenge presentation. We will be answering as many of your questions as we can during the Q&A session. If we do not have time to get to all the questions live during the webinar, we will answer any remaining questions and include the responses in the transcript available on the website. Please note that closed captions are available. Click on the CC box at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. I will now be running you through the details of the SBIR program before we discuss the specific SBIR challenge statement for today's webinar. At the end of today's session, there will be an opportunity to ask questions about the SBIR program and the SBIR challenge. The SBIR program is managed by the Office of the Chief Scientist and Engineer. This office has 4 distinct functions. We deliver evidence-based scientific advice to the New South Wales Government on a range of challenges, support New South Wales research, attracting research talent and infrastructure through the managing of the Research Attraction and Acceleration Program. We promote science outreach and education for both students and the general public, and work alongside academia, government and industry to drive the commercialisation of research excellence in New South Wales. The New South Wales Small Business Innovation Research Program is an initiative of the New South Wales Government that provides competitive grants to small and medium-sized enterprises to find and commercialise innovative solutions to well-defined problems for New South Wales government agencies. The 2022 SBIR program will provide up to $12 million in grants to New South Wales SMEs to solve the 7 New South Wales government challenges. The establishment of the SBIR program was recommended as a priority action of the Turning Ideas into Jobs, Accelerating Research and Development in New South Wales Action Plan. The action plan was developed by the Accelerating R&D in New South Wales Advisory Council, a group of leaders with experience in research, the innovation ecosystem and government policy. The New South Wales SBIR program is currently in its 2nd year and is modelled on similar successful Australian and international examples, including the Commonwealth Business Research and Innovation Initiative, the SBIR program in the United States, and the Small Business Research Initiative in the United Kingdom. The SBIR program is an important element of the New South Wales Government's approach to increase innovation and prosperity in New South Wales. Innovation generates the products and services crucial for future jobs and industries. Research and development undertaken in businesses and research organisations is a major source of innovation and should be supported for the whole community and economy to thrive. The SBIR program's primary objective is to tap into small to medium enterprises R&D to address the needs of the New South Wales Government with the aim of procuring these solutions. Other benefits from this program include an increase in innovation within government and increased economic development within New South Wales. This year, there are 7 SBIR challenges. Proposed solutions must address one of the 7, and each challenge describes a current New South Wales government agency problem requiring an innovative solution. The 7 challenges are waste recovery and management, headed by HealthShare New South Wales, biosecurity surveillance from the Department of Primary Industries, cultural and linguistic diversity services from New South Wales Health, recycled content verification from the Office of Energy and Climate Change, school zone alerting system from the Transport for New South Wales, urban heat island remediation from Greater Sydney Cities Commission, and non-invasive vital sign monitoring from Corrective Services. Later in this seminar, we will discuss today's challenge, health waste recovery and management, in more detail. The benefits of the New South Wales SBIR program for participating SMEs include up to $1.1 million in grant funding to develop and commercialise a new technology or service. They get to work with the New South Wales Government to pilot and test solutions with the potential of a New South Wales Government contract for successful solutions. And finally, the development and retention of intellectual property rights and the right to commercialise and sell their solutions in domestic and global markets. There are also benefits for the New South Wales Government, which include access to innovative solutions to policy and service delivery challenges, insights into different problem-solving approaches through working directly with SMEs, and a sustainable ongoing job creation mechanism. Therefore, our measures for success for the SBIR program are more SMEs established and growing their R&D activities and jobs in New South Wales. Secondly, New South Wales SMEs translate more ideas into innovative products and services, and New South Wales government agencies deliver better services to the New South Wales community by using innovative solutions. The SBIR program has 3 phases. The first phase is a feasibility study. SMEs will submit a proposal to solve one of the 7 SBIR program challenges. The proposals are assessed, first against each challenge, then highlighting proposals that are particularly promising, with successful applicant receiving a grant of up to $100,000 to conduct a feasibility study over a period of 3 months. Our aim is that we will have 2 SMEs completing a feasibility study for each challenge, and at least 1 for each challenge during the next phase, the proof of concept. During the proof of concept phase, successful feasibility study grantees are invited to apply for the proof of concept phase, where applications will be assessed, and each successful proof of concept grantee will receive up to $1 million to develop a proof of concept over a period of up to 15 months. The final phase, phase 3, is where New South Wales government agencies will consider purchasing successful solutions. As SBIR participants complete their feasibility studies and proofs of concept, the New South Wales Government Agency and SBIR team will work closely with them to provide advice and input to help them develop their solutions. This occurs via both formal monthly check-ins and updates with participants, and also informal interactions and assistance. Post-SBIR, participants are encouraged to take their solutions to other customers and markets. The challenges have been specifically chosen so that they encourage solutions that are not only the New South Wales Government would consider procuring, but also solutions that could be commercialised and sold to customers beyond the New South Wales Government. To be eligible for the SBIR program, applicants must meet these 5 eligibility criteria, including having an ABN, being a small to medium organisation with less than 200 full-time employees, and being headquartered or conducting the majority of their business in New South Wales. For more information and to view the full eligibility criteria, please refer to the 2022 New South Wales SBIR Program Guidelines, available on the SBIR website. In terms of assessment, applications for the feasibility phase 1 study, grants will be evaluated against the following 3 overarching criteria: solution details, commercial, and delivery. For solution, please describe your proposed solution and how it addresses the challenge. Describe the solution's current technical readiness and what level you hope to achieve during the study. Additionally, include what makes your solution more innovative and superior to what is currently on the market. For commercial details, please describe the commercial potential for your product and your plan for commercialization, including adoption and scaling of your product and service. The priority is first on meeting the needs of the government challenge and then on wider market opportunities. Additionally, please identify potential commercialization barriers and how these will be mitigated. And finally, for delivery, does the company and project team have the appropriate skills and experience, and do you have access to the equipment, technology, infrastructure, financial resources to carry out this project? At this stage, you'll be asked to provide a basic project plan, including a budget, risk management plan, and performance measures. We also ask applicants to submit some supporting materials, specifically a video presentation, no longer than 3 minutes, and a project budget. Applicants may also be required to provide profit and loss statements and balance sheets from the last 2 years. Eligible applicants will be assessed by both the New South Wales Government Agency that proposed the challenge and an independent panel of experts with experience in business development, commercialization, venture capital, and entrepreneurship. In terms of writing the application, we would recommend avoiding the use of overly technical and scientific terms, as the application will be assessed by a wide audience, including non-technical and non-commercial people. There should be a focus on meeting the needs of the challenge, and please include any details and data that support your claims. Each question in the application form states what assessment criterion it is being scored against. Try and respond as directly and succinctly to each question asked. There is a word limit for each question, but try to use this word limit fully to make the strongest possible case for your solution. And finally, additional documentation that is referenced throughout the application, such as if you have a detailed business plan, please ensure it's clearly labelled when attached to the form. Please read the 2022 New South Wales SBIR guidelines before applying. The guidelines set out the SBIR program process and requirements in detail. The eligibility, including the eligibility and assessment criteria, how we assess applications, how we notify applicants and enter into grant agreements with grantees, how we monitor and evaluate performance, responsibilities and expectations in relation to the opportunity. You may also wish to consult the New South Wales SBIR's FAQ available on our website. When you're ready to apply, you can find the online application form on our website. Applications close at 9:59 a.m. AEST on Tuesday the 28th of February 2023. Thank you for your time today. I'll now pass over to the Challenge Agency, who will walk through their challenge for today's webinar. At the end of their presentation, we will answer questions on the SBIR program in general and the specific challenge we're discussing today. Handing over to Hannah.
Thank you, Lewis. If you could bring up the next slide, please. Can we have the next slide? I'm not sure who's steering. Do you want me to navigate?
Hi, Hannah. I think just take control at the top there.
Yes.
Say again, sorry.
Is it not changing to the next slide?
No, is that just for me?
Perhaps you should take control. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, perfect. All right, good morning, everyone. Today we will be talking to you about the Waste Recovery and Management Challenge. This challenge is a collaborative endeavour between partnering agencies at HealthShare New South Wales, Hunter New England Local Health District, Health Infrastructure and Office of Energy and Climate Change. And we have entered this challenge on behalf of New South Wales Health. I'm Hannah Chopping from HealthShare New South Wales, and I will be co-presenting today with my colleagues Vanessa Majunik from Health Infrastructure and Alyssa Klinkenberg from Hunter New England. We're also joined by colleagues on the line who will take part of the Q&A. We have a number of representatives who were involved in the development of the challenge statement. We have Fergal Barry, who is the HealthShare Sustainability Innovations Specialist, Ingrid Sokovia, who is the Sustainability Program Manager at Health Infrastructure, Celia Tesorero, who is the Manager for Sustainability Advantage within the Office of Energy and Climate Change, who are part of the New South Wales Treasury Cluster. And we also have a number of subject matter experts on the line, including Tyson Campos, who is the Loading Dock Supervisor at John Hunter Hospital, Mark Allen from Capital Assets and Service Planning at HealthShare New South Wales, and Kieran Doyle, who is a Senior Contract Manager and our expert in the statewide waste contract that is managed by HealthShare on behalf of New South Wales Health. I'd like to quickly thank each of them for the time and knowledge that they have already invested in and their ongoing commitment to the challenge. As Lewis mentioned, a bit later today we will have that Q&A, but before we do that, I'll provide you guys a brief overview of New South Wales Health and the intersection between HealthShare, Hunter New England and Health Infrastructure with the rest of the New South Wales Health system. Vanessa will then cover off the New South Wales Health sustainability commitments, what our current state looks like and what our challenge is, and Alyssa will talk to our goals for the solution and what success looks like. Firstly, I'd like to also acknowledge the Aboriginal custodians of the land. So I am presenting to you from Worimi country, and I wish to respectfully acknowledge the many Aboriginal tribes of New South Wales. I would like to acknowledge the elders past, present and future and pay our respect to the continuing cultural practices and spiritual connection Aboriginal people of New South Wales have with the land, waters and seas. We hold an appreciation and respect for sharing their knowledge across our organisations. So what we do, the New South Wales Health Public Health System operates 228 hospitals across 15 local health districts, as well as providing community health and other public health services for the community through a network of local health districts, specialty networks and non-government affiliated health organisation, and this is collectively known as New South Wales Health. Health services are provided across a wide range of settings, from primary healthcare posts in the remote outback to metropolitan tertiary health centres. Separately, there's a number of supporting functions that operate across a variety of building types, including industrial laundries and office spaces. Within this system, over 52,000 tonnes of waste were generated in the 2020 to 2021 financial year across 6 primary waste streams, and these include general waste, recycling, which includes commingled paper and cardboard, metal and timber. We also had liquid waste, secure document destruction, and of course clinical waste. There are some secondary waste streams on a case-by-case basis, and this is mainly due to resources, segregation practices, and the waste facilities' proximity to hospital operations. And some of these include organics, e-waste, hospital plastics, a container deposit scheme, KimGuard, and other recycling initiatives. Lewis, I've just noticed that someone said that the slides aren't moving. They're moving on my screen. Can we have some technical support here?
Absolutely. I believe this is what was happening to me. So I'll just take control of the slides and see if I can do it.
Fantastic.
We are now up to...
we're at what we do. Perfect.
Is that moving now?
Yes, I can see that one now.
Okay.
Just some confirmation on the line. Yes, perfect. Next slide, please, Lewis. So as I touched on earlier, this challenge is a collaborative endeavour between a couple of our agencies within New South Wales Health. So as I mentioned, I'm from HealthShare New South Wales, and we provide shared services to support the delivery of patient care within the New South Wales health system. Most relevant to this challenge, HealthShare are responsible for providing food and environmental cleaning services across the majority of the system, and we also manage the statewide waste contract. Hunter New England Local Health District is the largest local health district in New South Wales Health, and it covers a region of 131,000 square kilometres. Within this vast geographical area, Hunter New England has over 120 facilities that are responsible for providing health services in a wide range of settings, including regional, rural and metropolitan health centres. Health infrastructure is responsible for the delivery of sustainable infrastructure and asset management solutions to support healthcare needs in New South Wales communities now and into the future. Health infrastructure oversee the planning, design and construction of health capital works over 10 million in New South Wales, bringing together experts from across multiple disciplines and working closely with clinicians, system managers and other government agencies, as well as industry to transform the public health facilities and precincts across metropolitan and regional New South Wales. And separate to New South Wales Health, we also have our partners here today from New South Wales Treasury, particularly the Office of Energy and Climate Change, that leads the development of statewide climate change and energy policies and programs. New South Wales Health has an ongoing partnership with the Office of Energy and Climate Change to support our sustainability journey as a system and our movement towards a more circular economy within the system. I'll now pass over to Vanessa from Health Infrastructure to take you through our sustainability commitments as a health system and our current state.
Hi everyone. Okay, so New South Wales Health sustainability commitment. So New South Wales Health outlines its commitment to an environmentally sustainable healthcare system in its recently released Future Health Strategy, Outcome 6, as we can see. The health system is managed sustainably. So from the slide you can see 6 elements or areas of focus, and through this process we will focus on all of these elements, but we will actually focus on 3 in particular to create the largest impact. They are incorporating sustainable management of waste and other resources, establishing sustainable procurement processes, and measuring and tracking our performance, as this is the key in helping us to work towards a circular economy. In addition, our approach aligns with the UN SDGs that focus on 17 goals for people and our planet. So I'm going to ask to move to the next slide. I don't think I can see that. All right. So with our current state, we may not know, but as indicated in the first slide, healthcare is the largest generator of waste in the New South Wales public sector. Publicly run health services generate an estimated or above 52,000 tonnes of waste per annum, of which recycling accounts for approximately 9,000 tonnes, which is about 18%. In addition, only a small proportion of our waste is currently recycled, and plastic waste represents a significant portion of our waste and includes clinical waste, general waste and food packaging. These waste streams are some of the biggest contributors. However, in this space, our staff who are committed to sustainability have limited time and are unable to sort waste manually. So what is our challenge? So we'll go to the next slide. So our challenge is that there's a growing expectation from our employees, patients and the communities in which we operate, who expect us to be environmentally sustainable, and we hold ourselves account also. Traditional waste management processes are challenged as the requirements for waste evolve. So we also have some considerations in relation to space for our equipment and processes in design that are scalable across metro, rural and regional New South Wales. Infection control considerations and requirements also present a key challenge to any potential solutions. The cross-contamination of waste streams adds another layer of complexity to this issue, and the volume of truck movements and labour required with waste management services can also present challenges. Minimising waste pickups and movements can contribute significantly to reducing our emissions. And with the ever-evolving number of waste streams in healthcare settings, the segregation of waste in high-risk operational areas can also present a challenge. So, by 2030, New South Wales will be required to have a 50% reduction in organic waste sent to landfill and 80% average recovery rate from all waste streams, as outlined in the New South Wales Waste and Sustainable Materials Strategy. Other relevant targets for us include the phasing out of problematic and unnecessary plastics by 2025, halving the amount of organic waste sent to landfill by 2030, and tripling the plastics recycling rate by 2030. So I'm going to hand you over to Alyssa, who will talk through the goals.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. Can everybody hear me okay? Yep, awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to talk about our goals what are our goals for this challenge, and this is around waste segregation and diverting it from landfill that engenders the support of the medical professional and healthcare service providers, that is through good design and that is accessible and easy to use, that does not interfere with the primary focus, which is patient care. We appreciate the issue is complex and may require multiple of technologies for this achievement. This might include, but is not limited to, technologies for reprocessing, segregating and storing of waste. This list of technologies is all-encompassing, and we encourage applicants with innovative technologies that have not been listed here to apply. So the solution requirements. As Hannah mentioned earlier, we have 6 primary streams within our current hospital settings. This includes our landfill waste, general recycling, like your commingle recycling, separation of paper and cardboard, and organic waste from our kitchen facilities. We also have our clinical, cytotoxic and pharmaceutical waste, which is segregated separately. They have their own infection control policies and waste management protocol. There are a number of factors which need to be considered as part of this solution. One of those is being the fact that being human error and that the hospital environment is a fast-paced where patient is core business, and therefore the solution needs to be considered that clinical staff are time poor and will not have the capacity to source separate within their services. Another factor for consideration is space. Hospital real estate is expensive and the space constraints are real, both internal to the hospital and external, such as our docks. So the capacity to be able to source and store multiple waste streams will be difficult. Therefore, the solution will need to take all of these into consideration and fit within the existing space that we have. So what does success look like for us? Next slide, thank you. As a health provider, we are committed to creating a more sustainable health system, and we need to be an organisation that says that we do no harm. We want to see innovative technologies that will see significant reductions in our contribution to landfill, where dollar savings can be reinvested into healthcare settings. We want new technologies to improve our waste separation with the opportunity to redirect into a circular economy market. And this is really important because we want to be able to see the recycled materials and products that may provide to expand in New South Wales and procure consumables that are now made from within that circular economy. Therefore further reducing our carbon footprint. So balancing the benefits. Our success will have 3 key impact areas, such as economics, environmental and social. Our economic success will be generated from the reduction of waste management costs. However, in balance with New South Wales Health, we are bound by budget constraints and any solution must be assessed for value for money against other products on the market. Environmental sustainability is considered as part of the core benefits of this challenge. However, safety of our patients and our staff is paramount. Therefore, any solution must not have any impact on our clinicians' primary objective, which is providing patient care. And just lastly, as a government organisation, we take a stewardship approach to our projects and any solution, and which may not negatively impact the communities that we serve. I really appreciate you all for your time this morning. Thank you for being on the call. That wraps up our presentation, and we will welcome the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please put them in the meeting chat. and we will forward them to the panel for answers. I will just quickly highlight some of the questions that were put in there earlier. Rebecca asked, can larger organisations partner with an SME to put in an application? You must be an SME to apply for and lead the SBIR project. If they have support from other organisations, universities or larger companies, that's fine, so long as it's the SME at the centre of it. And apologies for the difficulties with the slides. This recording and the slides will both be available on the website following this webinar. Hannah, I will pass it over to you. There's a few questions for your team. Does the proposed solution for this stage need to be proven that it will work?
This might be a bit of a an Office of the Chief Scientist question, but I will try and answer it as best I can. So the first stage is a feasibility study stage. So we are open to running that as a traditional feasibility study in relation to does the solution work. Obviously, we will have a lens from the solution working from a New South Wales Health perspective. However, the solution does not need to be built. There just has to be, I guess, some evidence that it would suit the purpose for the challenge. Does that cover it? Yeah, I was going to say, Lewis, do you want to add to that?
In terms of from our side, of course, a working solution is what we are aiming for, but we would like to see the solution work for the agency primarily. And so if the agency is happy with a partial solution or proof in a good direction and the agency would like to continue that forward into the proof of concept, then that is up to your assessment panel. But we are aiming for a solution that is, at the end, hopefully procurable. Danielle Munro asks, do you have to go through the feasibility stage as if this has already occurred through their own process? For the SBIR program, it is a stream completely. You can't skip the feasibility study phase. You first must go through the application feasibility study followed by the proof of concept for this particular grants program.
I might just jump in on that one, Danielle. So if you've already believed that you've proved out fairly good, fantastic. You're basically getting another 100 grand to you can do with it what you want. It doesn't need to be a fully true, there's no one strict definition of this is what you have to show. You're just showing where you're up to. So you can take that $100,000 for the feasibility study and already start to, to take the solution, start building it in the direction that will, be most usable for the challenge agency. Like, you're getting 100 grand, show us what you can do with it, whether it's super early and you're just doing a basic, a basic proof of what you're able to do, or whether it's already very well established and you're saying, yep, with 100 grand, here's what we can do to show you how it fits your needs. So it's 100 grand, do what you can with it, and then if you're successful, then you move through to the $1 million for it.
I might add to that, it's Fergal here from HealthShare, is that when you're solving a challenge that no one else has solved, there is an enormous degree of complexity and many seen and then many unseen challenges to provide a circular economy solution. So even if you've done a feasibility study, there's tremendous benefit, need, and value to go through a feasibility study that considers all the the key elements from all the key agencies. And one of the most valuable and important elements in developing a commercial solution is getting IP from all the different stakeholders within the organization as to what success looks like. Because if you've got 9 out of 10 elements right and you've got one wrong, that could be the difference between success and failure. And that's the value of the SBIR program, and drawing upon all these experts from government to deliver the best chance of developing a commercial solution that works and is scalable.
Brent has asked, has Hunter New England Health District chosen a hospital to run a pilot, potentially at the proof of concept phase?
Yeah, hi, thank you. John Hunter has been highlighted as the hospital of choice. But I guess then, depending on the constraints of, or what it is, if there is a better fit hospital, given that we do have a lot of construction going on at the moment as well, but we feel that this hospital will be the best pick because it will be, I guess it is our larger generator of waste. So we'll be focusing on John Hunter in the first element, or the first instance, sorry.
I might just add to that as well. I guess John Hunter is a great example for the volume of waste, but throughout the feasibility study, we will also be considering, I guess, scalability across multiple sites. So for an ideal solution, so there's I guess varying varying sized dock spaces. Some of our more regional sites don't have a dock per se, so we would definitely be taking into account scalability in relation to being able to potentially roll that solution out further than the John. The John is a great example in relation to tight dock space and a large volume of waste, but we'll be able to give applicants, I guess, more detail in relation to what the whole of New South Wales Health looks like, and the differences and the variations in what the sites look like as this piece progresses.
That sort of answers another question that we have here. Would potential applicants be able to visit the John Hunter or a different facility, or could you provide examples or photos of the existing waste stream management system for applicants? How will that data be available to applicants?
Yeah, I don't see there being any issues with people coming to sites as long as it's within the, I guess, as part of the application, there isn't any constraints around that from the application point of view, but we would happily assist those to either visit our John Hunter facilities or other local facilities across our network, and happy to sponsor that.
Simon Bull has asked, where are the boundaries of your system? For example, does the problem space start from the bins in the hospital?
Yes. Well, yes, it does. And from a procurement point of view, I think the things coming into the hospital, but from a waste segregation point of view, that's exactly right. So as I sort of spoke to the presentation, we have a lot of constraints internally to the hospital, but it starts from the point of generation to then the separation from the waste internally, and then also externally once it gets to the dock. Does that answer that question?
I think so. No, we've got a thumbs up.
I can see a question there in the chat from Danielle. I think it was a follow-up around if agreements have already been signed with other health networks out of New South Wales. Sorry, I just realised I was on mute. I can see another follow-up question from Danielle Lewis, and this one might be for you. If we already have agreements signed with other health networks outside of New South Wales Health, is that okay? I guess that probably leads me to think that the solution is up and running potentially. I'm not sure if that's a question for you to answer.
Yes. So similar to what Brendan was saying earlier, that wouldn't be an issue for us necessarily. You would still have to go through the two phases, the feasibility study and then the proof of concept, but these could be a really good indicator that you have a solution that is going to work in this situation. And so if you have data from previous deployments of your solution, that would be a really good way to include that in your application.
Well, if it's okay with Lewis, it's okay with us. Would love to see what you've already been able to produce, for sure. I think that's the majority of the questions in the chat, unless I've missed anything, Lewis or Alyssa, that you can see.
I think that's it. If there are no other further questions, does your team have any other information you'd like to share for potential applicants before we close up?
Yes, I think Fergal here, for applicants that register through the Office of Chief Scientist, we have additional information and background and scope to provide an insight into the organisation, its complexity, types of waste streams, primary and secondary. Some of that data is sensitive, but if there's a registration with the Office of Chief Scientist and some sort of agreement that it won't be shared, that additional information will be made available to applicants, and it'll provide some more detail and understanding about the scope and scale of the organisation as health and its complexity.
Given that we've got some time, Lewis, I'm not sure if it would be useful to do a quick, information sharing on what we're already doing at the John, and I am going to put Tyson on the spot here and Alyssa as well, just in relation to, I guess, what segregation's already occurring to give you an idea of what has already been done and what is remaining.
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
I'm happy to kick off, T. So I'll just sort of give you some background in terms of the more bespoke streams that we've been able to integrate into the hospital setting. So this isn't necessarily the sort of 6 core streams that we spoke about. We definitely have no commingle recycling at this point. However, we are segregating some of our hard plastics out for recycling. That's a number 5 plastic, which is being reprocessed. The other bespoke streams we have focused on, and these programs, projects have all been run by champions. So we have a group of clinicians who are really keen in this space who have been able to get these projects up and running for us. I guess they understand their service, the processes of how it works, and they've been able to integrate it into the service. So the other things we've been able to segregate out on the wards are your IV bags. It's coming out of only one particular service, which is feeders and recovery at the moment. And the other is our hard plastics, and then our Kin Guard, which is a sterile wrap that goes over all of our equipment. It gets bagged up before insertion and then moved out of the feeder. It needs to be all clean. So we also have the hard plastics, as I sort of spoke about. So we're diverting 100,000 baby bottles now, type 5 plastics, some feeders that are being recovered that aren't being utilised within the feeders, and they're all going down for reprocessing. That's probably as much as we can kind of do at this point in time, given the constraints that we have with our space. And so this is why this challenge is so key for us, is to really look at the innovation and the opportunities that are coming out in terms of that segregation. I'm going to throw over to Tyson. I think he'll be able to sort of explain around the operationalisation. Tyson looks after the dock and the management of the waste moving from A to B and the constraints we have with that as well.
Thanks, Alyssa. Really good points on the existing bespoke streams. The other two, or few that we have, is all our clinical waste, which Hannah mentioned is pretty much separated for the most part by everything else. Our general and our paper and cardboard that are like through compactor units. The way that this moves is we have trains of 1,100 litre waste bins that go internal to the hospital from the loading dock area. These are currently transported by electric tugs. These bins and like trailers that carry 240s for swapping with the wards, because all the wards, most of the normal wards have two 240 litre bins in their disposal room, except for the theatres and ICU that have the 1100s that can just be straight swapped out. Those bins are taken up, swapped out on them trains, and then the trains are brought back down. So essentially the way that the service corridor in John Hunter works is that it's all by waste trains, whether they're collecting soil linen or waste, and then recycling and the whole thing. So it's a lot of traffic in one area. The issues we do have is, as we've kind of mentioned, is small constrained disposal rooms. They're not necessarily as big as you're going to see in new facilities. These things are built small from quite a while ago, so it's really making the best use of the space. It is something you see commonly across a lot of the health sites because they are built so long ago. Traffic is one of the other things, so having a lot of traffic down level 1 made out of these 1,100 litre waste bins is a significant impact, and then space on the dock as well. So again, the facility was built quite a while ago. The dock was never meant to really handle this much waste. And now that we have all these things, as well as our bespoke recycling and everything else that happens, we really are feeling the constraints of how much space we're taking up with all these processes.
I see a question there from Mohan just around plastic waste being sterile. The waste that we're moving at the moment it's all clean. It doesn't mean that we spoke to around the clinical, it has its own process and protocols and policies around that from a, infection control point of view. However, I suppose in regards to the challenge, it wouldn't be, and maybe I'm speaking out of terms here, Han, but I think it wouldn't be, I think we could consider it, depending if it fit within the realms of infection control and the way it's moved around, to be able to recover biological hazard waste as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely don't think that's out of scope for this challenge. We would just have to take into account the infection prevention and control measures for those clinical waste streams. But yes, there's definitely two different sort of waste streams which will have a different set of requirements. I can see a question there from Simon in relation to eliminating waste being the first, port of call for any waste management. The short answer is yes, we're doing a lot of work in this space. We've had previous challenges involved in last year's Small Business Innovation and Research program that were around, reducing waste as well, particularly for personal protective equipment. There is a lot of work that's going on within the state to tackle this challenge as well. Individual local health districts are doing a number of initiatives. Hunter New England have been doing some fantastic things as well. It's definitely on the radar. It is, considered out of scope for this challenge. So this challenge is around segregating the waste once it becomes waste, or and preparing that for recovery. But yes, we do have a number of other projects that are aimed at reducing the waste from the source. And a big focus area for us at the moment is around food waste and plastic waste and how we can reduce that from the source as well.
Thank you, Hannah. You did highlight one thing I was going to say, which was that one of last year's SBIR challenges was on reducing the creation of waste in the first place, especially in PPE. If we have no further questions, I'm going to say thank you to Hannah and Alyssa and Vanessa for their presentation, and thank you again to Ingrid and Tyson, Fergal, Mark, Kieran and Celia also for coming along to the webinar. Thank you all for attending. If you would like to find more information on the SBIR program and view the link for the application form and the challenge statements, these are all on the New South Wales SBIR program website. A recording of this webinar will also be made available on the website with a transcript of the questions and answers in the coming days. If you need to ask any further questions, we have a contact email address, sbir@chiefscientist.nsw.gov.au. Thank you all for coming and wishing you all the best.